Why I became a corrections officer and what it's like being a woman working in prison, male prison. How I ended up becoming a corrections officer? It was all about survival, baby. It was all about survival. Around the time when I went into this field, I was broke. When I say broke, I mean broke. I was working at a bakery making $9 an hour, and I wasn't really all that good at that, so my hours was getting cut short, and the ends just was not meeting. I was living with an old friend of mine around the time. She had her own place, and I was bouncing from pillar to post trying to keep a roof over my head. And she told me I can come stay at her house. So I was there probably like 90% of the time by myself. And I was doing a lot of praying. I was doing a lot of fasting. And one night, the Lord had given me a dream. He told me to go ahead and leave my current place of work. And I'm like, what, Lord? What are you talking about? Like, because around the time, the girl that I was staying with, she was about to move out and stay with her boyfriend. So that left me out back. I didn't have any place to go. And I was in a currently, but before I had gotten to our house, I was in an abusive situation with family, and I had to leave because it was getting really, really dangerous. So that's how I ended up at her house. So when the Lord told me to go ahead and move, I was like, to me, he was just speaking in a foreign language. You look like, what? Like, huh? I had no idea. Like, when I say I had no idea where I was going to go work first, well, not work first, but where I was going to go work, I was stuck. So after I got that message from the man above, I decided to go on my phone. And I went on Indeed.com, and I just started going through all of the jobs. I just started thinking about all the jobs I've had before that I did not want to go back to. I didn't want to go back to being a receptionist. I didn't want to deal with the food industry. No waitressing, none of that. None of that. So I'm just strolling through my phone, and the thought came to my mind, corrections officer. Corrections officer. So I go ahead and I type on it in the search box, corrections officer, right? And it came up. And I can't tell you the name of the prison or anything, but it's located in Virginia. And they had a hiring event like a week out. So I was like, whoa. This could be an open door for me. In a prison, though? Like when some people think about being a correctional officer, like, oh my God, like, no, like you're around inmates and dangerous people, like, no. But me, like I said, it was all about survival, baby. It's about survival, okay? So immediately after I found out about that event, I jumped in my car and I drove for like 45 minutes to find this prison, just to see where it's located. Yeah, it was out there. It was out there. But I stretched my hand towards it, and I claimed it in Jesus' name that the doors will open up. So a week later, I went to the hiring event. It was an open event too. But before I went to the hiring event, I had to fill out an application online. The application was very easy. It was very, very easy. Like, it didn't have any questionnaires or anything, which was like, them questionnaires that they be having when you applying for jobs? Oh my gosh. Had none. All it did was just ask for job history and, little stuff like that. Are you a U.S. citizen? Yes, and yes. Okay? So I go ahead and get to my hiring event, right? And everybody, it's just, they just want bodies. Just bodies is up in there. So they go ahead and take our fingerprints. The process was so easy. Take our fingerprints and they pull us in the interview room and they ask us what you think our job duties would be, and then I answer what it's going to be. And then after all of that is done and said, they give us our drug test. We had to take a mouth swab test. So me, I was confident because I had stopped smoking marijuana. Like, I had just stopped. So we go ahead and get the swab test. And after everyone is swabbed around the table, I remember it was a quietness that was just like, people was looking at each other like, just, it was just a creepy, like, it was just quiet. I remember when the HR ladies came over, she was all like, everybody okay? Everybody quiet and everything? People like, yes. So we go ahead and do that. I go home and I'm just waiting. I've been waiting, because I'm confident. I know I'm about to get this job, right? And so I had like a week, like probably like a couple days to a week later, can't really remember, I received the email that says, welcome to States. And I need to schedule, what was it, my physical, I think? Was it a physical? I can't really remember because it's been over a year. Like this, I mean, I can't remember. But it was something that we had to do with some type of scheduling to see if we was in health. Yes, it was a physical. It was a physical, my bad. It was a physical. So we go ahead and go to a physical and all that kind of stuff like that, right? I remember when they took us out on the yard for the first time. We was in our civilian clothes. Like, we're coming out the administration building. It's probably like 20 of us coming out the administration building. As soon as we hit the yard, the gate is like right there, and the inmates is right behind the gate. As soon as they see us, they come running up to the fence, checking us out. They looking like, fresh meat. They like, yeah, here go the wolves, right? Here go the wolves. The sheeps and the wolves, right? We the sheeps, they're the wolves. It was on some, just don't look at them. Don't look at them. Just don't look at them. Pay no attention to them. Just keep walking, right? So we go ahead and get our physical over with, right? And so everyone is finally in. I can't say everybody because everyone didn't pass the drug test, but it was a nice amount of people that was in, right? So we're in. And I'm trying to remember, oh my goodness. Excuse me, I'm trying to remember I'm trying to remember. We get in. We do boots on the ground. We're boots on the ground because first, before they send us off to boot camp / the academy, we had to work in the facility. And I believe we worked in the facility for like 5 weeks. I think it was 5 weeks. Not only that, we had to do classes at the facility. So our classes was probably from like 9 in the morning to 5. They were long classes. We were just learning about there was thick books. It was so much information. I really can't even remember to tell you how much it is. I can't even remember because it's like basically you're going to learn your duties. You're going to learn your job when you really get into prison. You're not going to really learn it that much by doing a whole bunch of book work, right? So we did like 5 weeks of in class and then some on boots on the ground in the prison. Oh my goodness. I remember we was at work for like 17 hours. It was doing around the time it was a hurricane that came through that just passed, and they evacuated a prison that was next door to us into our prison. And so we was working from like 17 hours in civilian clothes. It wasn't a good look. So I think that was a test to see how many people was willing to stick it out, willing to stay, because there was other people who were OITs like we were, who went home. We were stuck for 17 hours. People makeup was sliding off their face. It was crazy. Like, it was absolutely buku crazy, right? So after we finish our 5 weeks, we go off to the academy, which is in Northern Virginia, right? So we do like 5 weeks in the academy. We had to do like a physical test, like a mile run and doing the sit-ups, P10, all of that. It was drama then. When I say drama, drama. However, I ended up becoming like, what they call it, like the Delta girl, like in the platoon. And I was so shy. Like, I was really, really keep to myself. Like, really, really keep to myself. And me being the girl that yells out Delta, that was, it was an experience that opened me up. After the 5 weeks was over, we came back to the facility. And then everyone started getting certified, including me. When I say I was nervous, I was nervous. Like, I thought to myself, how am I going to step into my authority of being a corrections officer? I can remember, like, being down at the child hall, doing child, and they would call down for the buildings, and you would see a big old group, just a big, huge group of inmates coming down. Just coming down the boulevard, and you'd be like, you know, I'm thinking to myself, like, what in the world? I have to be the head of that? I got to deal with that. I got to deal with muscle bounds, and I got to do all of that. Oh, my gosh, right? So, I got certified, right? I ended up being put on night shift. Night shift. Oh, my gosh. My first day certified as an officer. Boy, what was it a day. I won't even say a day. It was a night. It was a night. I remember I walked up in there, and it was like, it's a dorm setting. So you have the booth that's in the middle, and then you have a dorm on the left, and you have a dorm on the right. And they're all beds just lined up, like going across the room. And it's 98 offenders on one side and 98 on another side. And it's only me. Well, I can't say only me. It's two people for both sides. So when we do our rounds, it's only one officer on the floor. Oh my gosh, I remember when I walked in, and like when inmates see new faces, they get to acting crazy. They get to acting wild, rowdy, ratchet, all of that, right? So, I remember I walked down the floor for count. Oh my goodness, they just acting crazy. Like, oh my goodness, it's a new face. It's like, we're going to test and see. You know, they like to test new officers, right? So, all I remember, it was just chaos going on. And I'm standing in the middle of like, oh my God. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I remember I just became bold. I just became bold, and I just yelled, zip your lips. And I said it like real sharp. And I said it really loud. And it was all like, who she think she is? Like, shut up, bitch. I was like, oh, somebody called me a bitch. Oh my gosh, I really got bold then, right? It was just, I wanted to be over with. But someone calling me a bitch in the pod, I took the microwave. I sure did. I took the microwave, and next thing you know, I have a standoff. A standoff with a high-ranking blood. I'm like, are you serious? At the time, I didn't know that I was having a standoff with a gang member. But it was a power game going on. We was talking real calm, going back and forth, blah, 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 blah. So, after that's over and said and done, he calls me out my name. But I walks away because I already won because I took the microwave. Right? So, I remember that's what a female has to deal with. We have to deal with being called out our name. I mean, because these inmates can be really nasty. They can say nasty things doing count when you walking up and down. Some things I don't even want to repeat. But you definitely, as a female, you definitely have to learn how to just to turn a deaf ear to it. You know, you have to turn a deaf ear to it because it will eat you up on the inside. So, before I became certified, I had this fear of getting gunned. Oh my gosh. Yes, I did. I had this fear of getting gunned. And I would just on my, on my way to becoming a certified officer, I felt like, oh, it was just a countdown. A countdown coming. When I would get on the floor, because it would have to be one officer sitting in the booth and one on the floor, I would be sitting at the desk, and I'm like, I'm telling them, like, oh my God. I remember sitting at the desk, and I would look everywhere around the pod except for those freaking bathroom doors. I did not want to see what was going on in them doors. I felt like I was in a Twilight Zone, like, for real. I was scared. Because I'm thinking to myself, like, well, how am I going to act if someone guns me? Like, I'm scared. Like, that's an awkward moment, too. I remember sitting at the desk, right? And I looked over at the bathroom door. Someone walks in the door. And next thing you know, I see someone like, and I mean just going nuts. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. I got up immediately. And I hit my radio, open up the door. Open up the door. I ran up out of that thing. When I say it is the most uncomfortable thing ever, it's uncomfortable. As for a female being a corrections officer, having to deal with sex offenders, oh my gosh. I can't say all of them were sex offenders, but this particular person was a sex offender who was doing this to me. But this was like something that was really, really quick, and I just left really quick because I just want to avoid it. I'm brand new. I'm not trying to write no charges yet, right? So, it was another day. I had got transferred to another building, right? And it was like 3 o'clock at night. It was 3 o'clock at night. And I had an officer. He was a male officer. He was an older guy. And we're doing like our general, like our booth cleanup that we do every Wednesday night. And so I'm sitting up there talking. I'm like, yeah, blase, blah, blah, blah. And I'm cleaning off the window. And the window that I'm cleaning, the bathroom is like right in front of it. Like right in front of it. Oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah, blase, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, hey, Bailey, look at the bathroom. When I say, I don't even want to call him. This dude was standing like in the bathroom. Like, cause the bathroom is open too. It's like a wall that's between the showers and the toilets. And he's standing on the side where the toilets are. But it's like an open space. And it's also a wall that's like blocking him from like the waist down. This man was standing there like in the middle, just blatantly watching me and stroking himself away. Just stroking. And he was doing it as if it was no shame in his game. He did not care if I seen him. When I say I was so disgusted, I was disgusted and scared at the same time. I'm like, I'm looking at my partner like, oh my gosh, like I'm scared to ask him for his ID. I'm just scared. And my partner's all like, you can't be timid and all that kind of stuff like that. So he told me, he asked for his ID, got the ID, and then I just wrote him up. I wrote him up. He didn't get locked up that night. It was some craziness that went on. However, he did get a charge. He got a charge. He got a punishment for it. He should have got locked up that night, but he did. I was too afraid to go over there and put him in cuffs. I'm a newbie. I'm new at this thing, right? So that vexed my spirit. It really, really vexed my spirit. It did. I'm like, oh my gosh. So, however, I've been I have grown into my position. My supervisor is like, he's building me to be the sergeant that he sees me as. I don't know whether or not I want to be a sergeant or not. It's whatever, God's will is. I don't plan on staying working being a corrections officer, like retiring from it. This is just a stepping stone for me. So yeah. But when it comes to females working in this type of environment, females really have to be strong-minded, because if you're not, these men will try to break you down. Also, they make fraternization a big deal, a very big deal. Do not give your numbers to anybody. Do not tell them anything very personal about yourself. Some people are going to try to trick you up and ask on some slick stuff. Hey, Miss So-and-so, can you put some money on my books? Or some of them may even try to convince you to bring drugs in. Like, what's your cash app? Let me send you some money. Like, no. But for real, you have some men in there who respect the women, and you got some who don't respect women. But respect is a huge factor when it comes to working in prison. It really is a male-dominated prison. I can just say this. My way of doing things is like this. If ain't nobody overdosing, ain't nobody getting raped or having sex, what else? Ain't nobody smoking no marijuana or anything like that. If ain't nobody gunning me, then we're going to have a good shift. Nobody fighting, we're going to have a good shift. This is the easiest money I have ever made. I can't say the job is always easy, because it can become stressful when you have to write people up, and then you get the reactions that you get from out of them. Like some inmates, they're calm. Like they'll come and talk to you about it, like, dang, you wrote me up. And then some of them, they come to you screaming and hollering. And next thing you know, they spitting up in your face, all kind of stuff that's just like, what in the world? Like, why are you talking to me like this? I never talked to you like this like before. I wrote you up for a reason. I asked you to do something, you didn't do it. So it's like, you got inmate games. No. I ask you to do something, do it. You feel me? So, yeah. The people that I work with, like my staff, I pretty much get along with, like, I say like 98% of my co-workers. There are some male officers that I just do not like, because the male officers could be just as bad as inmates. I'm trying to tell you, it's as worse as inmates. Like, a lot of them, all they doing is looking for sex. So ladies, I just say, just don't get caught up in that aspect of it. However, if it goes down, your officers are there for you. They are there for you. So if you're thinking about going into this career field, give it a try. I say that going into this type of career field, for me, job career, it definitely broke a lot of fear off of my life. I'm not as timid as I used to be anymore. And then I feel like if anyone can work corrections, you can do anything. Absolutely anything. And also what I love about it is that the OT. The OT overtime is lovely. However, when a prison is short-handed, you will get drafted. When I say drafted, we supposed to work 15 days a month. and we're not working 15 days. We're working more like 25 days a month now. 12-hour shifts because of the whole COVID situation going on. It makes it really, really tough because there's officers constantly dropping out. There's officers who are out on quarantine. There's officers going out because they can't handle working so many hours, so they quit. But me, I ain't quitting. Like I said before, this job is definitely a stepping stone, especially if you're like looking to try to open up your own business. The overtime is there. It is definitely there. Even though on our job, it comes once a month. You gotta wait once a month. But if you stack up enough money, stack up enough hours, some people be clocking close to $3,000 on an overtime check. I think that's like in the hundreds though, like 100 hours of overtime. They will oversell and will come take your money though. So I just say for any female who's thinking about giving this a try, go ahead. I mean, you only live once. Don't be afraid. I know in a prison you amongst murderers, freaking drug dealers, thieves, sex offenders. However, you walk by faith and not by sight, and know that the blood of Jesus covers you, you'll be just fine. Be careful how you speak to people, respect them, and you'll be just good. So, take that leap of faith.